Hi, everyone. Welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and focus on the word of the Lord. Today I'm going to be speaking about a reading from Romans, chapter 11, verses 29 through 36. What does irrevocable mean? It means unchangeable, permanent, steadfast. So let's listen to the reading. Brothers and sisters, the gifts and the call of God are irrevocable. Just as once you disobeyed God, but have now received mercy because of their disobedience, so they have now disobeyed, in order that, by virtue of the mercy shown to you, they too may now receive mercy. For God delivered all to disobedience, that he might have mercy upon all. Oh, the depths of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God! How inscrutable are his judgments, and how unsearchable his ways! For who has known the mind of the Lord, and who has been his counselor, or who has given him anything, that he may be repaid? For from him and through him and for him are all things. To God be glory forever. Amen. So this passage ends off a long section where Paul is wrestling with Israel's place in salvation. A heartfelt question for him as a Jewish follower of Christ's. For several chapters, when I was doing my research, Romans 9 through 11, Paul is exploring this painful mystery. Why have so many of his fellow Israelites not accepted Jesus as the Messiah? These are his people, the ones who first received God's promises, the covenants, the laws, the temple worship. So Paul's heart is aching. In Romans 9, he even says, I could wish that I myself were cut off from Christ for the sake of my own people. Throughout these chapters, Paul is tracing how God's plan unfolds. Out of Israel's struggle and rejection, the good news has reached the Gentiles. But this doesn't mean that God has abandoned his first covenant people. Many Gentiles in the Roman Church assumed that because they had accepted Christ, that God rejected Israel. But here's where that line comes in. The gifts and call of God are irrevocable. Irrevocable, remember, means unchangeable, permanent, steadfast. So God's promises are not based on our worthiness or consistency. Paul also uses the image of an olive tree. Israel as the root, the Gentile believers are the branches. They're both nourished by that same promise. As Paul reflects, his heart can only end in a worship. Oh, the depths of the riches and the wisdom and the knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments and how inscrutable his ways. He doesn't argue, he just adores, even though the mystery is uncertain. So how does this reflect for us today? There are moments in our lives when God's plan doesn't make sense. Doors can close, paths feel unclear, and we wonder, why is God allowing this? Romans 11 reminds us that even when we don't see the full picture, God's mercy is still unfolding. He doesn't take back his gifts and his callings when we struggle or when we question. So faith is not really about having the answers, but more about trust. Sometimes we must have just an act of faith and understanding that worshiping is the mystery. believing that God is always with us. So, journal prompts for this would be, where do I see God's faithfulness, even when I don't understand his plan? And how have I experienced mercy that I didn't expect or think I deserved? And what calling or gift has God placed in my life that I need to trust him to renew? And then lastly, what would it look like for me to just worship when there's uncertainty? I hope this message resonated with you, and if you feel like a friend could use some encouragement, please pass it along. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's whispers.